The path to finding a job is filled with uncertainty compared to the path to getting a CS degree. You kind of just graduate college. College says, thanks for the past few years and thousands of dollars. Good luck finding a job. I mean, when you look at these entry-level job listings, are they really entry-level? You could find yourself spending months, if not years, in pursuit of finding a job with no real success. This amount of pressure and uncertainty causes a lot of people to view the job search in a negative connotation. When I started looking for internships in college, this is exactly how I viewed it. I did a few interviews, got rejected a few times, and I gave up pretty quickly. I thought, okay, I don't want to deal with this right now, so I'm just going to wait until I graduate to look for a job. But at that time, I was young and I didn't realize that job searching is a skill, and it's not just any skill. It's resume building and interviewing. So I was basically a beginner. Why did I expect to find an internship so fast after I started job searching? Maybe it was because of social media. Maybe I had too high expectations and I got shot down to reality. So when I graduated in 2021 with a CS degree, no internships, no money, no interview skills, nothing to really show for it, I knew that something within me needed to change if I wanted to be able to find a job. This was no one else's fault but my own, and I was in this position because of my past actions. However, now I procrastinated until the final deadline and I was faced with two different paths. Gather the courage to face my fears head on and find a job, or run away from my fears like I've always done. Live at home and waste away by playing video games like a NEET until I meet Truck-kun. Honestly, that doesn't sound too bad, but there was something that influenced my decision. And it wasn't just the past few years and the tens of thousands of dollars spent on college. Some of my friends who are also CS majors graduated a year earlier than me in 2020, but they were still struggling to find a job. I knew that if I didn't take this seriously, then that might actually be me. So I told myself, I'm going all in. I'm going to find a job no matter how difficult it is to prove to my friends that it's actually possible. And I wanted to see for myself if I was able to do it too. I completely quit video games, stopped watching anime, and pretty much devoted every single day to the job search because I knew that there was this time pressure. The longer that you go without a job, the more difficult it gets because of the gap. And I talked about my job search journey in my first video on this channel, but I never really talked about the thoughts that were going through my mind at that time, which I'll talk about now. In the beginning, the journey started out pretty rough. I didn't know what I was doing and I faced countless resume rejections. I knew I couldn't just keep applying with this same garbage resume, that Google resume template. These rejections reminded me of this book title, So Good That They Can't Ignore You. I never read the book. It's probably a good book. But that made me think, I'm getting ignored all the time, so my resume must be trash. And my next thoughts were, some people are definitely getting interviews. What separates me from someone who's actually getting interviews, and what can I do about it? They might have internships. They might have gone to a top school like Stanford or Berkeley. They might have better portfolio projects. They might know the CEO. I didn't know any CEOs. So I decided to focus on building up my resume by building projects. I knew that that was one of the main issues with my resume because I had one personal project with the rest unimpressive school projects. Although I did do some web dev projects in school, I never really learned the foundations. So I decided to learn on my own from the beginning. This is when something changed compared to when I was coding in school. When I was in school, I actually didn't really like coding that much. I only did it because I had to pass the classes. But now that I was learning on my own, I actually had a lot more fun. I learned the tech stack that I wanted to learn and built the projects that I wanted to build. With each project that I completed, I was actually improving pretty quickly. I was doing this every single day, but it didn't feel like work. I was enjoying what I was doing. I eventually created a portfolio website with all of my projects, and this led to more interviews. And with each resume rejection, each failed interview, I became really numb to rejection. I stopped caring about the outcome. This was a complete change in mindset compared to when I was looking for internships in college. I had zero pressure on myself going through these interviews because I had no expectations. However, I always tried to improve after each interview to see what I could have done better. And after a month of creating my portfolio project, I ended up getting 2 job offers. This journey taught me one of the most important lessons that I apply to pretty much everything in my life. It's to focus on the journey and not the destination. If you find something that makes you look forward to continuing the journey, you'll somehow realize that you'll be at your destination faster than you expected. For example, when I'm making YouTube videos, I don't really care that much about the outcome. There are videos that do good, there are videos that do bad, but I always just try to focus on what I can control and just enjoy the process of creating videos. I know that as I keep making videos and keep improving, I'll eventually reach my destination. The other skill I gained from going through this job search was that I actually built up my job search skills. It gave me enough confidence to quit my first job to try to find a better job, which I eventually did, but I did grind leak code for like 3 months before I actually quit. You might attribute my job search to luck. Like maybe I just got really lucky. And I do think that the job search has a lot of luck because it's never guaranteed unless you know the CEO. But I think the amount of effort that you put in will definitely raise your chances. If I never created my portfolio website and projects, I never would have gotten those interviews in the first place. If I never grinded leak code, I never would have passed those interviews. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I know how daunting the job search can be when you first start, especially because the job market is a lot worse than it was in 2021 and 2022. But your habits, persistence, and mindset will ultimately be what will define your success because they're the only things that you can control. If I had done what I always did, played video games, and ran away from my problems, I may have ended up in the same position as my friends, and this YouTube channel would definitely not exist. It's not easy to make that change, but you are the author of your own life story. To sum up the main point in this video, I don't think the job search is about applying with the same resume over and over again and expecting a different result. I think you should find a tech stack that you're interested and has jobs available. Enjoy the process of learning and building projects. Fail a bunch of interviews, and over time, you'll become so good that they can't ignore you.